Imagine this for a second. A cannonball shatters your ship's hull. Smoke chokes you, screams surround you, and before you can react, a band of filthy, armed men drags you onto their ship. You didn't choose this fate. No one does. You've just become a pirate. And the worst is just beginning. Stay till the end, because you'll discover why the true curse of the pirate life wasn't dying on the gallows, but surviving too long at sea. Welcome to Lost History, where you learn without getting bored with scenes you won't forget. You were a simple merchant sailor. Your plan was to go home with a little money and fresh bread. But the shadow on the horizon changed your life. Pirates didn't always recruit volunteers. Most were victims of the press gang. They captured you and forced you to join. And if you refused, the solution was simple. The ocean asked no questions. Once aboard, they strip you of your clothes. They throw you a torn shirt and pants that smell of urine. That first night, you sleep on damp planks, shoulder to shoulder with strangers who snore, cough, and reek of rum. You realize quickly, there's no going back. This rotten deck is your new world now. Your floating prison. You might think, if they were bandits, didn't they live in total chaos? Number, pirates had their own constitution. The Articles of Agreement. All plunder is divided democratically. The captain can be voted out. The lowest sailor gets a share even if it's small. Sound fair? Wait, because justice came with a whip. A sailor who lost his pistol got 10 lashes until his back was like open meat. Another, accused of stealing a silver spoon, was marooned, abandoned on an island with a gun and one single bullet. What would you do? Shoot the first enemy or yourself to avoid starvation? And the most feared, keel hauling. Tied to a rope, you were dragged under the hull, covered in shells and barnacles, which tore your skin like knives. If you survived, you were unrecognizable. The days blur together. The sea becomes your blue prison. The work never stops. Patching sails on masts that whip back and forth. Bailing water from the bilge. That dark pit where urine, blood, and bits of rotten food mix. Spending hours scraping mold-covered wood with your fingernails until they bleed. The food is another punishment. Salt meat covered in mold. Hardtack so hard you need a hammer, or to soak it in rum. Of course, it comes with extra protein. Maggots. No one bothers to pick them out. After all, what does it matter? And that's when the sea's most famous ghost appears. Scurvy. Bleeding gums, loose teeth, brittle bones. Some sailors thought it was divine punishment. For you, it's just death getting closer every time you try to bite down on hardtack. Imagine this, a simple toothache. On land, you go to a dentist. Here, your fate is called Gristle, the ship's surgeon. His specialty, pulling teeth with rusty hooks heated in the fire. They give you a stick to bite on and a swig of rum. The rest is just screaming until you lose your voice. A minor accident can also be a death sentence. A finger cut while cleaning cannons gets infected in hours. A broken leg turns to rotten flesh. The only option, amputation. A blood-covered saw, no anesthesia, and boiling tar to cauterize. The probability of survival, almost zero. The sea didn't need enemies. Life on deck itself was already destroying you little by little. Your shipmates aren't movie heroes. They're beggars, deserters, criminals, a mosaic of madness and misery. Rat-faced Pete, who keeps dead gulls in his hammock as a charm. Knuckles, who pulls teeth from corpses and collects them like coins. Old Brody, who pulled his own tooth with a hook and wears it round his neck. The smell of the ship is a perpetual punishment. Sweat, dried blood, urine, and smoke. The sea doesn't wash. It just preserves the filth. But in the midst of the horror, something unexpected appears. Camaraderie. Elias, a quiet sailor, teaches you knots and warns you. The key is to be useful and invisible. Maybe among all this misery, there's still a bit of humanity left. Your watch duty is terrifying. A single lantern barely lights the deck. The ocean is an endless black mass. You stare at the horizon so long, you start to see lights that aren't there. A sailor whispers that black birds bring bad luck. That very night, a hurricane hits. Lightning illuminates every soaked face. Waves lift the ship like a toy. A man falls, and his scream is swallowed by the roar of the sea. When the storm ends, the ship is a floating cemetery. Broken masts, sails in tatters, and an empty seat at the rations table. The worst part? Pirates lost more ships to storms than to battles. The real enemy was always nature. Finally, a sail on the horizon. The captain orders the black flag raised. The message is clear: surrender or die. If the enemy ship resists, the cannons open fire. The roar shakes your bones. Then comes the boarding. You leap through smoke and screams, slip on fresh blood, and stab anyone not wearing your same filth. The loot isn't chests of gold. It's sugar, tobacco, gunpowder, rum. The real treasure was surviving one more month with provisions. But with the plunder comes greed. Arguments, suspicions, knives at the throat in the middle of the night. The enemy is no longer the merchant ship, it's your own shipmate. Soon, the most feared word spreads through the crew: mutiny. The captain is accused of stealing part of the loot. They vote. He wins, barely. The next day, the ringleader of the mutiny disappears. No one asks how. And just when you think the worst is over, a ship appears on the horizon, following your every move. It's not a merchant. It's the Royal Navy. A shot shatters the dawn. The combat is brutal. Cannons shredding wood, men screaming with their guts on the deck. You survive, but just barely. One night, hell arrives. The Navy boards without warning. You wake up in chains. The trial is fast, the sentence obvious. The gallows. Dawn in Port Royal. A rope around your neck. The crowd cheers as if it's a show. The executioner pulls the lever, but fate plays its card. Explosions, smoke, chaos. Elias cuts your ropes and you escape in the screams. Weeks later, you find yourself under the command of another captain, Maud. Discipline, respect, calculated raids. But the price is always the same. In a brutal assault, Elias dies in your arms. You bury him in the sea he hated so much. You end your days on an island, in a lonely cabin. You no longer seek treasure or adventure, just silence. You survived. And that, ironically, is the only treasure a pirate never expected to have. The truth is this: pirates didn't live in freedom. They lived in condemnation, hunger, sickness, betrayal, and storms. So the next time you hear stories of skulls, gold chests, and endless rum, remember, a pirate's real treasure wasn't gold. It was just one more day alive. If you enjoy these deep dives where you learn without getting bored, subscribe to Lost History and hit the bell. Every day, a historical journey with scenes you won't forget.